Buenos días a todos. Quiero darles la bienvenida y agradecerles por acompañarnos en este evento. Mi nombre es Alejandra Zapata y hago parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales de Colfuturo. Hoy nos acompaña Hans y Anders, quienes son representantes de KTH Royal Institute of Technology. Nos estarán brindando un poco de información en esta sesión acerca de la oferta académica que tienen disponible actualmente, cómo pueden iniciar su postulación, qué opciones de financiación tienen y también nos estarán hablando un poco del convenio que tienen con Colfuturo, el cual actualmente otorga un descuento del 20% en el valor de la matrícula para 10 beneficiarios de Colfuturo. A lo largo de la historia hemos beneficiado a más de 46 estudiantes con este descuento y esperamos que toda esta información sea de gran utilidad para todos ustedes. Al final vamos a tener un espacio de preguntas y respuestas. Entonces, si en algún momento de la charla tienen alguna duda o pregunta, pueden escribirla en el chat que al final las van a responder. Quiero recordarles que nos pueden seguir en todas nuestras redes sociales, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter y en nuestra página web colfuturo.org para estar pendientes de todo nuestro cronograma y todas las actividades que tenemos. Hans y Anders, thank you so much for joining us, for your time, and for your interest to present the institution. So you can start.
Thank you, Alejandra, and nice to be here, and thank you for the invitation. Yeah, my name is Hans, and I work at the International Relations Office at KTH. I will start off by having a brief presentation about KTH. A month ago, we had a presentation at this webinar presenting KTH more in overall. And last week, we also participated at BMI Colfuturo talks. So we thought that for this session, we would focus more into the area of KTH and renewable energies, and to talk about a little bit what that is and how you as a student can engage with KTH and our programs related to that theme. And with me today, I have my colleague Anders Malmqvist that will do the main presentation. So I'll just start off by, for those of you that has not got in contact with us since before, can have an overview. And then I'll hand over to Anders. So KTH is one of the is the biggest and one of the highest ranked technical universities in Scandinavia. They have around 13,000 students, and we're located in the city center of Stockholm, as you can see here at the map. We also have other campuses around the Stockholm region, but the campus you see here in the photo is our main campus. We have around 60 master's programs taught in English. We will not go through them all. As I mentioned, we will focus on renewable energies today, but this is just for you to have an overview. So we have within architecture and built environment, we have these programs. We have within electrical engineering and computer science, engineering sciences, or the life sciences, more focus on chemistry, biotechnology, and health. And industrial engineering and management. As you can see, we have several master's programs. And to get admitted, the general requirement is to have finished your degree in Colombia. Additionally, you need an English proficiency test, as you can see. And also all master programs have specific admission requirements related to their specific programs. You can find more information when you enter our website and read about the specific programs. And finally, you can also get in contact with us in several ways. You can enter the website, as you can see here. It's kth.se, and also engage with us in pretty much all social media channels. I think I'll leave it there and hand it over to my colleague, Anders.
Thank you, Hans. So I will share my presentation. Can you see it in full screen now, Hans? Okay, perfect. So I would like to share with you some information about Sweden in general and the renewable activities and energy considerations in Sweden. And then I will boil down to different master programs at KTH and research at KTH related to renewable energy. So let's start with the general energy supply in Sweden. Here we can see how it developed since 1970 until now. And you can see the green part down there. You can see that biofuels is increasing from quite a small part to quite a significant part now. But you can also see that the oil still plays an important role in the supply in Sweden, and also we have nuclear power and hydropower to a big extent. Solar power and wind power are emerging, but still in the whole context they are pretty small. So the use of renewable energy, let me just move that one. Here we have again the growth from 2005 and forward, and you can see that we have the major part are hydropower and biofuels, and all of the renewables they comprise about half the total energy use in Sweden. So we still have a significant way to go. I will now share a number of slides with the pictures of different parts in Sweden. Here we have one of the big hydropower plants, Harsprånget, in the far north of Sweden. As you can see on this map, there are plenty of opportunities for hydropower along the big rivers flowing from the mountain area in Sweden down to the Baltic Sea. Onshore and offshore wind power is really expanding in these days. So here is an offshore wind power, and in the background, close to the horizon in this picture, you can see the bridge between Sweden and Denmark. So this is in the southern part of Sweden on the west coast. We mainly have winds blowing from west. But looking from this map, wind power is being explored in most parts of Sweden, and in the northern area we have mountains and strong winds. So here we have another historic view. You can see that starting from 1900, we had quite a fraction of biomass used, and then in the middle of the 1990s it was really reduced and replaced, of course, by oil and oil products. But now, since our first energy crisis in the beginning of the 1970s, that increased again. So now we are really on the go for using biomass, and we have a lot of opportunities from forestry industry. We have forest residuals from sawmills and from pulp and paper manufacturing. And a residual from forestry waste that's collected in this way by tractors, and then it's aggregated and transported to combined heat and power plants. And we have a lot of district heating. So we make use of the waste heat from power production and heat our cities and our many of our municipalities as well. So this was the context of energy research in Sweden and the background, how the situation is. Let's jump into KTH and look at the research there. We have a cross-functional platform, which I will come back to. But looking at the different schools we have in the built environment, in biotechnology, chemical science and engineering, and industrial energy and management, we have several research fields, and within each field there are numerous research groups working on different topics. So let me share a few of those topics. For example, in bioenergy and waste, the challenge is to find technically feasible and cost-effective processes. So just taking wood and burn it in furnaces, that's one way, a simple way to do it, but far from the most efficient one. So further development of gasification and other conversion technologies are important. When it comes to hydropower, remember I mentioned about the wind and solar expansion. And we used to have a very stable nuclear power plant, several power plants in operation, but they are approaching end of life, and also for safety and political reasons, some of them are being closed. And this means that we have an imbalance. The nuclear power plants used to be in the southern part of Sweden, and while the hydropower is in the northern part. So when we add wind turbines and PV fields, this cause instabilities. So the research on hydropower is to a big extent on how to make this a stable regulator to keep the stability of our very rigid energy system, or it used to be very rigid, and we want to keep it in the same way. And for wind power, we strive to build more and more, but concerning research, recycling of wind turbines and how they should be integrated in the network to get the stability, those are important research aspects. Concerning solar power, we have research groups both working on system integration of large-scale solar plants and also small-scale combined heat and power units, where you can use sunlight in the daytime and biogas, for example, in the nighttime, and then you have a 24/7 product. As this slide also points out, research is being made in the cell material itself, and we have later on an example of a spin-out company working in the campus area of KTH. So hydrogen and fuel cells, here the research is going on concerning reliability and lifetime of materials, and of course also cost effective components for fuel cells. In addition to the research within KTH campus, there are also several university collaboration projects going on. For example, this one, Stand Up for Energy, which is a cooperation between KTH, Uppsala University, Luleå University, and the Swedish Agriculture University. In this cross-university research groups study various types of renewable energy production. And within them, there are several projects going on. So now let me share with you two interesting examples of spin-out companies which stem from the research at KTH. And but they are now companies, but they are still residing within the campus area. So the first one is Exeger, a company which have developed very flexible PV photovoltaic material, which can be arranged indoor or outdoor. So you can imagine you have small devices with this material, for example, a pair of headphones. And on top of that, you have a texture looking like leather, and it picks the energy from the ambient lighting. So it's a matter of transferring energy locally. And this can be provided in different shapes and so on. And the company is really on the go. The other company, Phoenix Biopower, they are building currently a demonstration plant within the old power station within the KTH area, campus area. They improved the gas turbine technology by firing it with syngas from gasified biomass. And in a combined heat and power setup, they can reach up to 60% electricity plus heat output. So combined, they are at 85% roughly useful energy derived from biomass. So as described, we have a lot of research going on in various parts of KTH, and a common platform to cross-link all these research groups and carry over research results to other groups for cross-functional workaround. That's the energy platform. In addition to that, there are other platforms like transportation and so on. But since this presentation is about energy, let's stay with that. We jump further on to the different master programs in renewable energy. And here we have programs in material science, engineering design, sustainable energy engineering. And we have a number of associated programs as well, which share the time. So the first year could be within KTH and the second master year could be with another participating university. So we have Select, we have Reni and Densis as examples of these programs. So something about what we're doing in the different programs. So in the engineering materials science program, it's understanding of existing materials and processes, but also the development of new materials and processes. Here's a good example. It's a company called Hybrid, which is very recognized in Sweden now. They aim to remove the old furnaces in steel manufacturing and go for hydrogen-powered processes, and not only powered, but also hydrogen used as reduction means in the process. And the hydrogen is to be derived from surplus wind power and PV power. So this would lead in a few years. They plan to provide manufacturing fossil-free steel. So the careers in this engineering science is in the steel industry, but also in the user industry, like the automotive, the manufacturing industry, and so on. And of course, you can also continue pursuing PhD studies based on this program. So in engineering and engineering design, it's more like the traditional mechanical engineering, but putting in the context of identifying complex phenomena and to elaborate on new products based on these phenomena to solve traditional problems, but in a new and environmentally sound context. The program Sustainable Engineering is addressing, as the name says, different ways of converting energy in a sustainable way and to use energy in an efficient and sustainable way. So we try to provide a system perspective, holistic view on this. And we are addressing in all the courses in the program, we are addressing engineering challenges to provide energy in a better way than before. I happen to be the program director of this program, so I take this as a more detailed example of how a master program at KTH can be built. First of all, we have extensive student representation. So these three gentlemen come from different parts of the world, and they are all involved in giving feedback for continuous improvement of the program. The requirements to get into this program is that you have a bachelor degree and you have completed either bachelor in mechanical engineering or chemical engineering. We can also accept students from other disciplines, provided that you have academic records in engineering, thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, and heat transfer. And that will be pointed out in your application documentation. We host the program mainly in the Department of Energy, which has three different research groups: applied thermodynamics, heat and power, energy systems. And the faculty personnel that you will meet as teachers, they are also researchers in one or many different detailed fields. So when it comes to master thesis, you are recommended to approach a professor in one of the fields you are interested in, and then you can elaborate the possibilities for your thesis. The structure of a program is such that we have in total 4 semesters. The first 3 semesters contain coursework and to a big extent student projects in the different courses, while under the 4th semester you spend full time on your master thesis projects. Within the program you have 3 tracks which you select for the 2nd semester. Could be energy system analysis, could be energy supply through clean conversion technologies, and energy in buildings and cities. So system, energy production, energy use. And at the bottom you see some of the mandatory courses for these 3 years. And in addition to that, each track has a number of track-specific courses. And the dark blue cells show that you have 12 credits freely electable among all KTH courses. And with that you can compose your own pitch of your profile. We also are a member of a network of other universities. So while being at KTH, you can also take online courses at other participating universities, and these courses are recognized as part of your master curriculum. The Sustainable Development Goals primarily addressed are number 7, number 9, and number 11. But I would also like to point out that an important issue at KTH is number 5, gender equality. And in our courses, we address that, for example, in giving a perspective how people in the world are reached or not reached by sustainable energy opportunities. And also how conversion technologies may meet people in unfair ways. So we address this in different parts. And in the teaching, we highlight and emphasize the interaction between students from different parts in the world. So, for example, project groups are randomly organized, which allows you to meet new people with new perspectives and not only the ones you normally cooperate with. In the associated programs, here I give an example of the Master Program Select. There is a field study called Project of the Year that runs actually during the 2 master years. And then a group is addressing a deep problem, which is a real problem, together with companies. And normally it's included also travel to a site, which could be anywhere in the world. The deadlines to apply for this is for general master programs in KTH. January 17 is an important date, then the application close. And for associated programs, there is already a closure on the end of this month and another one in mid-January. So please take care and read about this and be sure that you start your application process well in advance. Yeah, and I think Hans also mentioned that we have different ways of supporting you with your questions and considerations, among else student ambassadors, which can give you a fair view from the inside how it is to study at KTH. And with that, I would like to thank you and welcome any discussion or questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Anybody have questions? Okay, I have one question for you, Anders, and also for Hans. Which recommendation will you give people that are in the process of applying about the time of preparation, about specific requirements? What is your advice?
So as I said, the eligibility criteria are that you, if you are a student in mechanical engineering or chemical engineering, then it should be pretty straightforward. Otherwise, you really must make sure that you have academic records in the fields thermodynamics, heat transfer, and fluid dynamics. This is for the program of sustainable energy engineering. But for any other program, I recommend you to carefully read the information page about each master program you're interested in, and carefully look at the tab of eligibility requirements.
Can I also add to that make sure to start extracting and preparing the documents as soon as possible. As an example, when it comes to the English proficiency test, I mean, these are this might take a while. You might have to register to do the test, and then after you've done the test, it might take a while until you get the results. Or when you some documents might require a translation, and then you might have to book an authorized translator, or you might have to make copies certified by Notarius Publicus, etc. So that's another suggestion.
Okay, thank you. We have a question. How much are the living expenses for students in Sweden in average?
I think I mean, it always depends, and everything is relative, but I think the official requirement from the migration board is around 900 euros a month. Yeah, so and I think that's about 900 to 1,000 euros a month. Then the most expensive thing I would say is accommodation. Yeah, but somewhere like that.
Okay. They can work while they are studying?
Yes, the student visa in Sweden allows students to work. There is no limit. So theoretically they can work full time, but of course we don't recommend students to work that much, because the studies requires quite a lot. And another thing that's good to think about is that in order to get the student visa, you must show that you can support yourself. As I mentioned, that you can provide 900 euros a month. So the work is just for extra money.
Yeah, I would like to stress the fact that the studies on the master program, that's full-time activity, and the days are normally scheduled with the lectures from maybe from 9 until 4 o'clock, or even from 8 to 5 some days, depending on the composition of your courses. So it's actually, and then on top of that you have student projects to solve and homework to do and so on. So the time to go working in addition to this, you should not overestimate the opportunities for that, even if it's formally allowed.
Okay, thank you, Anders. We have another questions. Does the university offer scholarships for prominent students?
Yes, we have. When you enter the website and go into the studies section, you can read more about the scholarships. But in general, you could say that there are two scholarship schemes that we can offer. One is the KTH scholarship, which is basically a tuition fee waiver. So there is no living costs included, but it is a possibility to have the tuition fee paid. And additionally, the Swedish government has a scholarship program within the Swedish Institute Agency, and that covers both tuition fee and living costs. I think this year approximately 50 students, international students at master levels, got one of those scholarships, and also some of these joint programs that Anders mentioned within the EIT Energy, they also have scholarship programs.
Okay, we have another. Are environmental engineers eligible for the Sustainable Energy Engineering program? I only saw that you require mechanical or chemical engineers.
The message was that mechanical or chemical engineers have the courses which are for the special eligibility. They normally have that in their curriculum. But in addition to that, if you can show that you have studied thermodynamics, heat transfer, and fluid dynamics, and you can show that in the transcript, then of course you are eligible as well. So we just pointed out that mechanical and chemical engineering are kind of default, so to say. But we enroll several energy engineering students and also electrical engineering students, but then some have to take some extra courses before being eligible.
Okay, thank you so much. We don't have more questions. So thank you so much, Hans and Anders, for your time, for your presentation, for all the information. And have a nice day.
Yeah,
Thank you, Alexandra.
Okay.
Que tengan un buen día.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.